All right, I think I pressed these at the same time. I'm recording my audio into the Zoom H1N because the DJI, which I'm recording the video on, is more than arm's length away. So it's really noisy downtown in Tirana, if you want to say Tirana. So I'm going to put the Zoom H1 in my pocket. Maybe I'll do a sync clap right here. That way I can easily sync them up with the transients. Okay, so I'm doing a review of the Canon 250D or SL3. I don't know, there's two different model names, whatever. It's the 250D, that's what it says in the box, so I'll just go with that. And I got a list of talking points about this camera. I want to do a review, but I don't want to spend too long on it. Just the highlights, what I think of the camera after having it for about 6 months or so. Burgers, buns, lettuce, oh, wrong list, okay. My history with taking pictures, still pictures, and Super 8 film goes back to my teenage years at the age of about 14, all the way to 18, 19, into my 20s. I was taking a lot of still pictures, so I love SLR cameras. I finally, after so many years, got a DSLR. I'll talk about the camera, then I'll talk about the lens. This is the 250D. The highlights of it are, first of all, it was about $900 in a package. I was weighing this against other, like Rebels, whatever. I tend to like Canon cameras, and it's not necessarily because I like Canon. I just only use Canon. I mean, I've got 4 Canon cameras. I've never been disappointed with the quality. And this 250D, like some people would make like reviews on it, and I was watching reviews and reading specifications, etc. They're saying, well, it's got a lightweight body. Yeah, it does. Just be careful with it. That's all. I mean, it's not gonna, break in your fingers. It's a pretty solid build. It's lightweight. I like it being lightweight. I actually got this Zoom H1 microphone clip, but it's made for, they made it for the Zoom H1, but you can use it for a DSLR as well, so you could put it on like a tabletop microphone stand, which is what I have going on right here because I do a lot of tabletop video. Anyway, it's got a nice flip-out screen, and the flip-out screen is fully articulate. It moves all around, and it flips backwards or flips upside down so you can see yourself. And you can just put it back here. You can actually fold it back so you can look at the DSLR, the LCD screen. Or if you want to use the diopter instead, just close the screen like that. A lot of controls, a lot of manual controls that you would find in any decent SLR camera. The quality is amazing. My still pictures I took recently on a film set look amazing. I really got this to take pictures of my own artwork as well as do video. The one thing it doesn't do for video is shoot at 60 frames at 4K. 4K seems to be limited to 24 frames a second. Fair enough. I've got this DJI, which you can record at 60 frames a second 4K if I wanted to. So that's not a big deal. But that was one of the considerations of the specifications when I was going through. What are the frame rates for video? So right now, I shoot a lot on HD until I need 4K. But in the meantime, I don't need 4K. It can shoot it though. Takes beautiful images, comes with this 18 to 55 millimeter lens. Of course, I got this lens from Best Buy. So here in Canada, it was about $150 Canadian. So whatever that is for our American friends, maybe that's $80. No, probably just $100 or like $120 or something. Because our dollar stinks in relation to the US dollar. It always has. We'll see what happens in the future. Anyway, $150, Best Buy. And some people are saying, well, that's a starter zoom lens. So it's a zoom lens that goes from 75 to 300 millimeters. It's a starter lens, they call it. But when you look at the quality, you're not thinking, well, that's starter quality. No, it's awesome quality. The light loss here is calculated. What some people don't realize is that the f value for light loss here, which is 4 to 5.6 f-stops light loss in the lens. That's a calculation because it's f, not t. A t value or a t-stop would be a measured version of that, of light loss in the lens. But I'm only using this in good light. So I'm not using this in like dark light where it's going to be hard to see and you get more light loss in the lens. So with decent light, this is an amazing lens for $150. I'm not going to spend $1,800 on a lens. I'm not like that because I drop things and break things. So if I dropped and broke this, it's $150, not $1,800. So, and it looks great. It really does look great. I'll show you some pictures. that I've done, and I did some shots of the moon recently a few nights ago with this lens as well. I wasn't close enough, but it still looks pretty damn good. So that's that lens, extra lens for the camera. Let's talk about all the features. It's got all the regular manual features you would love in a DSLR camera. I talked about the articulated screen, but it's also got every manual control you can think of that you would need practically. So no problem setting ISO, exposure, etc. White balance for doing video. I do auto white balance, or I'll do like sun white balance or custom white balance. It's all in here. Tons of features, more features than I actually need, but they're in there in case I want to use them in the future. So the sound is great. It's got manual level control and auto level control. I use manual if I can, most times. If I'm going directly to the camera. It records awesome audio. It has a microphone built in, but you know, when anytime the autofocus on the barrel of the lens moves automatically, it's going to make a noise when it autofocuses. It's a great autofocus, by the way. It's like, they call it 9-point autofocus. You can touch the screen and focus on anything you want on the touch screen. It's pretty amazing. You can do really easy focus pulling without a focus assist or follow focus. You don't necessarily need a follow focus if you're going to use the touch screen. So it's got all that. I really do like the autofocus. If you do buy a lens to fit on, it's got to be the type of lens that's going to allow you to do the autofocus. You can see the autofocus on this lens right here. And taking the lens on and off is pretty easy. You press the button, you twist the lens, you be very careful. You put the new lens on, just line it up with the dots. That's the white dot right there. I line it up with the white dot here. I twist it. It's a bayonet mount. It locks in place. Great. So anyway, I don't know what else to say about it except the pictures of my artwork turned out splendid. They're amazing. This is 24 megapixels. So it takes like really, really awesome pictures of artwork. Really, really awesome video so far. I haven't had no problems with this. I haven't had any problems with any Canon cameras so far. So as a starter kit, or you know, some people say, well, it's entry-level stuff. Well, hey, if I make a film or take some pictures, is somebody going to go, that's entry-level quality? No, it's good quality or it's not good quality. I think it's worth it. I picked this over the Rebel 7, I think it was. Had less features. This had more features. I just decided to spend a couple $100 extra to get the better features. So I was, you know, researching this for a couple of months before I actually clicked buy. And I'm not disappointed. After 6 months of use, I am not disappointed. Just treat it well. Don't drop it. Put it in a proper case. Get an extra lens. $150. Amazing lens for the price. I was surprised. I was a little worried about the cost. Well, it's only $150, and why is it so cheap? And I looked at the results and I went, wow, great results. Okay, there are faster lenses. There are, you know, lenses with arguably better glass or whatever. But if you're unsure, just go for the under $200, between $100 and $200, 75 to 300 millimeter lens. Pretty awesome package. That's all I got to say about this. My review is that, I mean, just look at the video. Just look at the still pictures. You know, it's got stabilization as well, but I've got a gimbal, so I'm not too worried about the stabilization. Oh, by the way, if you go for the advanced stabilization, it crops the image a little bit. So if you don't have the wide-angle lens on, you might crop too much on the advanced stabilization. If you have a gimbal, you don't really need it. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on the Canon 250D or SL3, whatever you want to call it. A couple of more tips. One is that I have this Hoodman. Got this Hoodman, and the Hoodman just slips on the screen, the LCD screen, and it lets you see in the sunlight. It's really cool. I'm not sure how much that was at the time. I bought this like 12 years ago, 10 years ago, so it's probably $50 or something like that for the Hoodman. Great little add-on for the camera, as well as a bunch of filters, and I've got this nice tulip. Well, it's a rubber tulip for the front of the camera to, you know, stop lens flare if you want to stop lens flare. But if you like lens flare, you don't need that. And that was like $30 or something like that. So I got a bunch of add-ons for the camera, of course. That's my review. Hope you dig it. I really like it. You can decide if this is right for you. Just look at the picture quality and the sound quality. Cheers for now. Bye.